Cousin falsely accused me of it. Now my family is finally connecting me after almost 10 years. I grew up in what was probably the most normal of normal households. Parents worked a lot, but still managed to care for me and my three older sister. We were never super close as a family, but never had my issues. And issues are the same goes for my extended family. They always lived a few hours away, but we saw each other during summer holidays or Christmas and always got along great. But when we got older, we naturally grew apart as everyone had. They now lives and 31 now in 2014. When I was 22 in attending uni, I got a phone call from my mother that turned my life upside down. I remember I did not even answer it first because I was going without friends, but she called again immediately. After the first call, this was an underrating in the family. If you call twice like that, like important, like someone died important. So when she called again, I excused myself and answered only to hear choose in the other end like people were arguing. But when my mom realized I had answered, it sounded like she went to another room, closed the door, and just asked what was going on. And here she was crying. My memory of this conversation is a bit blurry, but she basically asked me if I had something to confess to. Regretting A is my cousin on my mom's side and is 7 years younger than me, 15. At that time, at the point I had not even seen her for several years, I just said no and asked what this is about. She just cried even harder and started accusing me of a say and back when we were children that I had told everything to my sister. Then my sister told my mother and my aunt a hold and told them that back when she was 9 I was 16, she would be playing in my room. When I came in, started feeling her under her clothes and kissing her. My mother screamed at me to say something, but I could not even speak. It was also observed. I remember thinking it must be some bad joke. The last thing I remember seeing was that it's not true. And that is my turn lying. But then my mom goes on, saying that how gave such a detailed description of her and how then she kept asking something like, did you do this? Did you do this? And I just screamed back at her. No, each time it all ended with my mom putting me on speaker and both my mom and head saying that they don't want anything to do with me, never to contact them again. Two of my sister texted me later that day pretty much saying that I am disgusting and they blocked me. I know it's weird, but after that call I went to have a long shower. To this day I still don't know why I did that. After coming down I started calling and texting everyone, even no one answered. The ones who had not blocked my number by that and quickly, and so the only thing I heard back was from my father, who told me to stop contacting them and that they needed to heal. That was 9 years ago, and I have not spoken to anyone in my family since that day to say this. Yep is my understatement. I was living in haze for a week after that and hardly ate it. All it did not help that this was right before I was supposed to defend my bachelor's thesis and was already staged out. Luckily, my co-editor sent something was up and saved me by controlling the conversation so that I got the easy parts without him. Sure, I would have felt needless to say no one come to my graduation semester in the worst period of my life. I spent the first year expecting the cops to knock on my door and arresting me for sexual abuse and did not land any jobs, just living of my saved money. I drank a lot and did oxy. I also grew resentful and violent. The only reason I did not hurt anyone is because no one was around. My neighbor called the cops on me once after I had smashed a glass, but I managed to convince the officers that I had just dropped it and driven away since there were no others inside my apartment. Instead of sleeping, I would spend my nights planning how I could hurt and make sure no one ever even found out, even thinking how I could actually do the thing she would accuse me of. But much worse, I know I am not proud of that. I landed my first real job in the field in late 2015. Only then did things start now improve. I focused all my time on my job as it gave me something normal to do. Recovery was a slow process, but I drank less and smiled more. I lived cheap and earned good money, so I made a point of buying myself a nice gift for my birthday, a beer head, a motorcycle, Lego, etc. And last year I moved from my shifty apartment and bought a small house. It was an old dream of mine to have my own engaged and garden to care for. This has boosted me even more, so my life is okay now and still got problems. I've been on antidepressant for the last few years, and while their health is not in happy with, I simply remove the dark thoughts and replace them with dates. Once just in other people is close to non-existent. I would be tried dating but only been on 2 dates with 2 different women. It's really hard to speak like a normal person when it comes down to it. And what would I tell a potential partner when she asks about my family? Oh, They accused me of a heinous crime and we are not talking anymore, but I did not do it. Swear my field is very male dominated, so the only woman I really speak to is my therapist, who I liked a lot. A few days ago, received a text from my mother. It felt unreal and I was scared to open it at first, so I just stared at the notification for hours before opening it yesterday. A second text flowed, translated there basically. Say hi, my name is been so long. So long since we talked, we miss you and want to know how you are doing here. She writes a long text about my sisters and how my nieces and nephews are getting big. I did not even know. I was an uncle, know that we love you and always will love mom. And then the second text said, hi, my name Winston. If you don't want to talk to us after what happened, but please listen. Last month, the subject of you was bored up at a similar thing doing this was downplaying everything that had happened to her. It got so awkward that she finally admitted that nothing happened and that she probably just dreamed it. We are all played by this when she last spoke, wanted to protect me and did the only thing we thought we could do. We know that's not excusing how we are treated, and what he did was wrong, and the law angry at her. We have called everyone that me and told them the truth. We all want to speak with you. My sister want you to meet their families. Please write back if you can find it, and you to forgive our love mom and dad. So yeah, that's my situation right now. Haven't answered, but they no doubt know I would be seen it truth be told. I'm sitting so many old shitty memories are now sting again. I don't want to forgive them and I would not trust myself to be in the same room as them right now. Part of me wants to call my family and unleash everything on them to guilt them with everything we went through until they all hit their rock bottom. Then dedicate my life to make my cousin's life as miserable as possible. The other part wants to ignore them and continue with my okayish life with my motorcycle in my garden to keep my company. I don't have any friends, that only people I speak to are my coworkers, but we are not really close. I will be called my therapist clinic, but they told me she's in vacation and don't won't be available for weeks and I don't want anyone else than her. So that leaves internet stands. So please her to go from her do. I ignored them and continued as is. Or do I answer? And if so, what to even write? I am pretty sure meeting them in person would be a bad idea for a foreseeable future, but I am not even sure how my life and can improve from picking up those old tears and embracing it. If many sound, I will be dream about the day when they apologize to be them throwing themselves to the ground and kissing my feet. Existing seems so authentic. Now cousins falsely accuse me of say now my family is confronting me after almost 10 years. Part 2. So it's been around 3 months since I lost trusted the previous most. And this amount has happened, some for the better and some for the worse. For one is still huge or the hell around a week after my family sent me the message. She also reached out with a huge apology text when I received it. I could not believe my eyes. She was talking about how she had mental problems and has been dealing with them for age almost as an excuse as to why she did this to me. She needed help and her parents are helping her get it this. Seemed like a BS to be because of my life. I knew she was a beaming radiant girl until that dreadful day in 2015. The whole text felt like she was just feeding me excuse to why it happened and then ending it off with the shortest actual apology. My original plan was to go on with my life and try to slowly make it better and better, but seeing this pushed me to my limit. I had to respond and tear into her the most vile words I could think of in the end. The actual text I ended up sending said, you think your mental problems are bad. My parents and sibling might be another story, but I will never be able to forgive you for the invisible damage you have done to me. In my relationship, please not wrote him here and never contact me again. She has not responded, but I can see that she got the message because of read. This is maybe she took in the hand to not respond. The good news is that also responded to my parents, nothing crazy in text because we really got the whole conversation out over the phone. It felt when hearing their voices again. I used to relate to those voices to being safe at home, but after what happened, it was a whole new feeling. At first, I hated it all. Sure, memories dropped back into my brain from the day I last spoke to them. Those voices had been screaming at me for things I did not even do. The conversation lasted about 3 to 4 hours, and while it was hard for me, and most likely them, it was the most productive conversation I would be even here with them. I thought it would be a lot of excuses just like it, but my surprise they not only apologized a million times over but told me everything they were in the wrong about the said it was waiting for the when. coming home for Christmas and seeing the rest of the family, but I told them my plan about taking it slow. Said I might be open to the idea, while I am still conflicted that feeling of hatred is slowly going away. While just feeling like a better person in general, I think the weight of the situation had pulled me down all those 10 years, and now that I'm free of judgment, it feels good. I have also started dating now. I met a great girl that I'm starting to slowly get serious with. Life is getting better. Who knows what will happen in the next 10 years after this? But for the first time in 8, I feel like things are going up for all those reading. Please as my story as an added to your personal problems and cages things to get better even if we have to wait 10 years.